Episode 66, 3 Hotel Horror Stories. This episode starts off with a story about Alan, who went on a solo trip to a nearby destination. He booked a budget hotel that was less than $10 a night. It was a 3-story budget hotel, and after arriving and going up a few stuffy flights of stairs, Alan finally arrived at the front of his room. Alan opened the door and was thrilled to see the room. He thought that he had scored a good deal after looking at how the hotel room looked almost as good as the photos that he saw online. It was a basic room with a super single bed and had a personal washroom. For the price that Alan paid for, he felt that it was all worth it. After looking around for a bit, it was already late at night. So Alan just wanted to settle down and sleep before waking up early the following day to carry out his list of activities. After a quick shower, Alan laid down and scrolled through his smartphone. He was wide awake but decided to just close his eyes and hope that he would somehow fall asleep. Eventually, little did Alan realize that he was beginning to fall asleep and slowly sinking into a dream. Alan, who thought that he was still awake, remembered himself talking to a lady while seated by the woods at night. Somehow, Alan remembered the lady laughing, making jokes, before going down on all fours behind Alan and strangely began biting on the back of Alan's knees. Alan began laughing out loud. Alan continued laughing until he eventually opened his eyes and found himself still laughing loudly. That was when Alan realized that he was just dreaming. But the odd thing was that Alan still felt the biting sensation. Alan looked down and saw bite marks at the back of his knees. Alan was stunned, as he never remembered being bitten recently, and the fact that the bite was at the back of his knee, coupled with the dream that he had about the lady biting him, Alan instinctively knew something wasn't right. For Alan, that was the first but final straw for him. He didn't want to spend any more time in the hotel. Alan called the reception, explained what had happened, and asked for another room. Within minutes, 2 staff members came to help him to shift his belongings into another room. And just out of curiosity, Alan asked if there was anything that happened in the room previously. That was when one of the staff members casually said, "Oh yes, sir, last year, a man killed his girlfriend in this hotel room. We closed the room for a while, but after a couple of months we allowed guests to use the room again. But when our guests checked into the room, they sometimes did experience a female voice crying in the washroom. But recently, there weren't any more encounters. I guess it was just bad timing for you." Alan was speechless. He was slightly scared, but also annoyed at how he was given the room despite the staff members knowing its history. But Alan also knew how could he complain? It was, after all, less than $10 a night. Joey was on a short weekend getaway with his parents to a nearby island. Joey didn't have any siblings, and he hated such trips as it would just be him and his parents, especially since Joey was, at that point in time, already a teenager, and he would rather spend his weekend with his friends instead. However, as his dad insisted on having a family bonding weekend, Joey had no choice. So after a short ferry ride to the island, the family of 3 were taken on a golf cart to their resort. When they arrived, Joey got even more annoyed looking at the accommodation. Joey said to his dad, "Hey, Dad, it's just one small room. Am I not getting my own room?" Joey's dad then said, "No, Joey, hotel rooms are expensive. So I booked one room for the 3 of us. You can sleep on the single bed beside ours." Joey's mom then said, "Yeah, honey, it's going to be fun. You never know, you might miss this place when we go home." Joey just kept quiet and couldn't wait for the weekend to end so that he could go home to his own room. He put his stuff down, unpacked his clothes, as Joey's dad said, "Come on, Joey, hurry up with the unpacking so that we can head out. We don't have all the time in the world, you know." The family soon went out of their room, and without them realizing, it was already nighttime. They headed for dinner at the resort's restaurant and headed back to the room for a night's rest. When back in the room, Joey immediately got on social media to chat with his friends, and after a while, he looked to his side and noticed that both his parents had already gone to bed. Joey wasn't bothered that he needed to wake up early the following morning. Joey continued to chat with his friends and told them about how boring the trip was. Soon later, Joey looked at his smartphone's clock and realized that it was already 2 a.m. And as Joey was already feeling tired, he put his phone aside and lay down. Joey closed his eyes, and after about 10 minutes, he realized that he still couldn't fall asleep. Joey was sleeping sideways to his left, and that was when he suddenly felt something putting pressure on the right side of the bed, near his feet. Then he felt the pressure on his bed get closer to his head. It was as though someone was stepping on his bed and slowly walking towards his face. Instinctively, Joey knew that it couldn't have possibly been either his mom or dad doing it. So Joey tried to open his eyes to see what it was. But as hard as he tried, Joey couldn't open his eyes. Joey could feel whatever that was walking on his bed get closer and closer to his head. Soon, Joey could feel the pressure right beside him. Then, suddenly, Joey felt his head pushed down hard against the pillow that he was lying on. Joey struggled but couldn't do anything. Neither could Joey open his eyes, nor could he push himself up. But somehow, Joey was eventually able to let out a scream. Suddenly, he could feel the force against him completely disappear as he opened his eyes. Joey looked around and saw nothing. Joey knew that he was never asleep, and everything that happened was all very real. He looked over to his parents' bed, and they were still in deep sleep. Joey turned on the TV and stayed on guard for the next couple of hours, still traumatized at what had happened. But eventually, as Joey was too tired, he unknowingly fell asleep. And, thankfully for Joey, he was never bothered again that night, and for the rest of his family bonding trip. After a busy few weeks at work, Harold and his wife, Jenny, decided to go for a short therapeutic shopping trip to a nearby city known for their cheap shopping experience. So when Harold and Jenny arrived at their hotel, they were pleased that it was clean and had a good amount of space for them to place their shopping bags when they returned later. And not wanting to waste any more time, Harold and Jenny headed out to do some shopping at a nearby mall. After a couple of hours of shopping, the pair went back to their room to put down their shopping bags and headed out for dinner. It was almost midnight, and after dinner and drinks, the couple were finally back at their hotel. But to their horror, when they opened their room door, they realized that their shopping bags were all over the floor, and the room chair was also knocked down. Their luggage was also on the opposite side of the room. Jenny then said, "Oh my God, honey, I think someone might have gone into our room." Harold replied, "What the heck happened here? You stay near the exit. I'll make sure there's no one else in the room." Harold opened the toilet door of the closet, looked under the bed, and looked behind the curtains. There was no one else. Harold checked the windows, and they were still completely locked. Harold then said to Jenny, "Okay, honey, there's no one here. Who could have done this?" Harold immediately called the reception and instructed for a staff member to come by. While waiting for a staff member to come to their room, the couple checked their belongings. What was odd was that nothing was stolen. Then, within a couple of minutes, a staff member appeared at their front door. The staff member then said, "Whoa, what happened here, sir?" "That's what I'd like to know. We came back to our room to find this mess. What's going on?" said Harold. "I'm sorry this happened, sir. We'll take a look at the CCTVs first to see if there was anyone else who came into your room," explained the staff member. The staff member then brought Harold and Jenny to the CCTV room, and along with the manager, they viewed the CCTV showing the common corridor. After reviewing the footage, it was clear that no one else entered the room. The manager then said, That's weird. How about we take a look at the CCTV that could see outside your window? Maybe someone entered through it." They began viewing the CCTVs as an elderly janitor came into the CCTV room to mop the floor. And after looking through the CCTVs, nothing odd was seen moving around the couple's hotel room window. Harold and Jenny stayed silent as they couldn't understand what caused their room to be in that state. The manager then said, "I'm at a loss, too. I don't know how anyone else could enter and cause the mess." Suddenly, the janitor interrupted and said, "Just change their room already. We all know it wasn't a person causing the mess. The hotel is so old, this kind of supernatural occurrences are bound to happen, and you kids just need to move on with life. Change rooms and forget about it." Everyone stayed quiet as they thought about what the elderly janitor said. Eventually, the manager did assist Harold and Jenny to change rooms. And since then, nothing else happened to them. Was it another poltergeist attack? Who knows?